You know that feeling when you walk into a room, look around, and wonder if you're missing something everyone else already knows? Imagine if you could glimpse behind the curtain and discover the hidden truths most women would rather keep locked away. What if you held the keys to their unspoken vulnerabilities, not to exploit, but to truly understand and connect? Stick around, because we're about to unpack the top 10 female weaknesses women would rather you never discover. And I promise, number 10 will surprise you. Everyone loves to talk about what makes people strong, especially in an age where empowerment is the buzzword of social media, TED Talks, and every motivational post you scroll past. But what about weaknesses? Not the sort that makes someone less, but the deeply human triggers, fears, and emotional hurdles that shape women beneath the surface. We aren't here for stereotypes. As a result, women often experience emotions, joy, sadness, anxiety, excitement, more intensely and personally. This depth of feeling sounds like a superpower. But here's where the weakness comes in. It also means they're more vulnerable to being hurt, misunderstood, or dismissed. It's exhausting trying to balance empathy for others while managing your own tidal waves of emotion. And you want to know something? Most women wish you didn't know how easily an offhand comment or cold shoulder can cut deeper than you realize. They do their best to hide it, but it shapes their reactions, the walls they put up, and their reluctance to show too much of themselves. Closely linked to this is the fear of rejection. Picture this. You look at a confident woman, nailing her presentation, lighting up the room at parties, making people laugh. But beneath that polished confidence lives an ever-present anxiety. What if you don't like her? What if you find her lacking? What if she's not enough? Instead, they overcompensate with humor, kindness, or achievements, all while secretly wishing someone would just see them, flaws and all, and decide they're worth sticking around. Then there's the drive for emotional certainty. Listen closely. Emotional security isn't just nice to have. For many women, it's like oxygen. There are few things more unsettling than instability in a partner or relationship. Women yearn to feel safe, to believe you won't turn cold at the first fight or disappear when things get complicated. This is a silent craving, and, frankly, a hidden weakness, because needing that reassurance opens the door to heartbreak if it's not met. The kicker is, most women would rather you not spot this need, since being needy or clingy gets labeled as unattractive. But if you want a shortcut to her heart, be her anchor. Offer steadiness. That's the antidote to this weakness, and most men have no idea just how much it matters. Yet it becomes a weakness when it clouds judgment, leading women to chase unhealthy relationships, overlook the stable ones, or settle for hot and cold affection just to feel that dopamine rush of pursuit. Most women wouldn't want you to know just how magnetic emotional unavailability can be, at least until the thrill fades and the pain sets in. Let's talk about self-doubt. Social media has amplified this weakness for women more than any generation before. Even the most put-together woman you know has compared herself to someone else and come up short. Looks, careers, love lives, achievements. This constant measuring up chips away at self-confidence and makes even the strongest women second-guess themselves. Here's the secret. You'll rarely ever see this vulnerability outright. Women are experts in hiding their doubts behind carefully curated images and witty comebacks. But inside, a little voice never quits whispering, "Maybe you're not enough." This isn't just caution, it's survival instinct, and it affects everything from how they dress to how much of themselves they share. It's a weakness only because it's a burden, one that shapes choices and silently limits freedom. Most women will brush this off or make a joke, but it's always there. Physical insecurities. Now here's a weakness the world is hyper aware of, but still manages to misunderstand constantly. Women are bombarded with impossible beauty standards from childhood. Every mark, scar, extra pound, or stray hair can feel like a glaring flaw, even if no one else notices. Compliments are nice, but rarely enough to outweigh the years of programming. Want to know a secret many women would never admit? Sometimes, a single careless comment, or even just being ignored when looking their best, hurts more than a month of gym progress. This is why authentic reassurance matters. It's not being vain, it's wanting to feel truly seen. Let's shift gears a bit. Also, if you're ready to fast-track your success, check out my new course in the description or comments for exclusive strategies. So, you'll often find women supporting everyone around them, but keeping their own breakdowns under wraps. If you ever notice the strong, capable woman in your life going silent, reaching out first, or just needing a small favor, don't underestimate how much courage it took her to ask. This is vulnerability at its rawest, and most women hope you won't realize just how hard it is to show. Tied to that is the need for constant reassurance and validation. Here's the truth. Positive feedback isn't just appreciated, it's necessary. Even small gestures, a kind word, a thank you, a simple text, can keep self-doubt at bay. Women are often conditioned to shrug off compliments or say they don't care what people think, but deep down, validation from people who matter is fuel. The tough part? Relying on reassurance feels like a weakness, and nobody wants their needs to feel exposed. Women often internalize criticism more and use it as a measure of self-worth. The knock-on effect? Overthinking, guilt, and sometimes just shutting down to avoid being hurt again. Most women would definitely prefer if you never realized criticism can shape their inner world so profoundly. Let's zoom in on the subtle need for appreciation for small things. In any relationship, grand gestures set off fireworks, but it's the little things, making coffee just right, remembering a story, sending a quick check-in text, that often counts most. When those little efforts go unnoticed, women notice. The weakness is caring too much about tiny gestures because they symbolize love or attention. If they're ignored or taken for granted, resentment can simmer. Women may not say it, but feeling invisible in the details is a genuine vulnerability. What about the avoidance of confrontation? How often women rehearse these conversations in their heads, mapping out every possible reaction, because the risk feels that huge. Now, for a twist. Independence, celebrated as strength, can actually hide its own brand of weakness. A fiercely independent woman might handle everything herself, avoid leaning on others, and go out of her way to seem unbreakable. Yet beneath that surface, there's often fatigue, a longing for someone to step in and say, "You don't have to do this alone." Being forced to always be the strong one wears people down. Most women wouldn't want you to spot this loneliness, because needing help can feel like a betrayal of their own strength. Missing out, what's commonly known as FOMO, is a universal weakness, but social pressure makes it hit women harder. If she's not at the party, tagged in the photo, or keeping up with friends' big milestones, anxiety sneaks in. Am I being left out? Do I still matter? The need to smooth things over, prevent discomfort, or meet everyone's expectations can make women take on too much emotional labor. This isn't just politeness. It's a learned weakness from years of wanting to make everyone else comfortable first, and themselves second. Here's another secret. Many women struggle to accept genuine praise, especially about their value outside of appearance or job titles. Compliments about character, talents, or resilience sometimes slide right off. They've been trained to question motives, look for the real message, or brush it off with humor. But that doesn't mean those words don't sink in or aren't craved. In fact, it's a weakness how hard it is for many women to just say thank you and receive love without suspicion or self-deprecation. Social adaptability is a superpower. Think about how quickly women can read a room, shift their approach, or smooth over tension. But constantly managing other people's emotions takes a toll. rescuing others, a subtle weakness often misunderstood as just being nurturing. Many women are drawn to helping, fixing, giving in relationships, sometimes beyond what's healthy. This can turn into codependency, where caring for someone else's needs eclipses their own. Women may hide this pattern of self-sacrifice, not wanting to admit vulnerability to unhealthy dynamics or the difficulty in setting boundaries. Let's wrap up these insights by saying this: none of these weaknesses makes women lesser. In fact, these vulnerabilities are often the flip side of their greatest strengths. Emotional sensitivity? That's empathy in its raw form. Fear of rejection? That's the courage to love and risk. Need for reassurance? Proof you care. Every so-called weakness carries the seeds of connection, but also the risk of being hurt, overlooked, or misunderstood. Thanks for watching. If you want to get the results you wish for fast, then check my limited time offer on my new course, which will skyrocket your success in dating. Click the link right now down below in the description or in the comments, and grab this opportunity. See you in there.